difficult to actually soak it in that quickly. For me, it took me several days, even several weeks, to be able to really understand what I just achieved, because especially when you win for the first time, I think for Novak or Roger or all those players who have won Wimbledon on multiple occasions, then it almost becomes normal, for them. So of course there is the happiness of achieving the fact that you're winning another Grand Slam, but it's not as much as a big deal as when it's your first one, or your first Wimbledon in the case of Carlos Alcaraz, because he won a Grand Slam before. So I think it's more, especially for Marketa Vondrousova being unseeded, completely unexpected for her to have that sort of a run, and being the total outsider in the final, and Sting coming out and playing great tennis and winning in straight set as well. I think that very much for her is going to take a bit of time to soak in, because he was, it's not something that at the beginning of the tournament anyone will have put her into a sort of top 5 or top 10 contender to go and win the title. So I think it's even more of a surprise. Last year she was coming to London to see a friend that was playing the qualification of the tournament. She was wearing a cast. So I don't think she was expecting herself to come back at such a high level that quickly after all her injuries she had suffered. But, all credit to her. She had some really tough matches. She was down a set against Bushkova and then came back and won in 3. She was down 4-1, ball for 5-1 against Pegula, came back and won that one as well. So, at some point when you really have to push yourself that much and you're able to go through those matches, you absolutely deserve to win your first Grand Slam title. Well, I don't see it as, as an issue or whatever, because it's a fact. So there is nothing you can do about it. I mean, you just can't say to a player, oh, but why you don't win every single Grand Slam like Serena? I mean, you just can't say that to someone, because all those girls are trying their hardest when they're on the court. It's just sometimes that, they're losing and they should have won, like Ons losing that final. But it's not like you can go and say to her, oh, yeah, but why don't you try harder to actually win a Grand Slam? She tried to hurt out of the court and tried absolutely everything to win. It just didn't happen. So it's a fact. It's a fact that you have new names. It's a fact that, there is some newcomers coming. It was the same when Raducanu won her first Grand Slam. It was the same when Andreescu won her first Grand Slam. Now is Marketa winning her first Grand Slam. It was, in a way, slightly more of a shocker when Raducanu won, because she came from the qualification. So that was even bigger of a story. And then become, this $20 million girl that get off all those contracts in the UK. And from 3 weeks before the US Open starting, she was into quali. 3 weeks later, she was at mega superstar. So it's a fact. Then, was tennis different back then when I was playing? Of course, you had 15 or 20 names that were coming back all the time. And from someone to get inside that group, it was extremely difficult. And it was just so difficult to just get yourself in the top 20 or into the top 10, because you just had, the Serena and the Venus and the Anna and the Clijsters and all the Russian, and you just didn't have the space. But I like those new stories. I like those fairy tale stories. I just hope that those girls can now stay there. And for Marketa, that can bring that level constantly, so she can be a face into the top 10 and people can come back to Wimbledon next year and saying, okay, I know her now, she's top 5, or, she has done this result somewhere or that result somewhere. Like Rybakina, in a way, she won last year, but she came back this year, she was top 3. It's not like she was a fluke. So, very much if those girls can now say, okay, I had my breakthrough moments, but you see, I'm part of the conversation, I'm coming back and I'm top 5 or top 10. I think we're in for a great WTA tour, because we have possibly the comeback of Naomi Osaka, which is really exciting. We have the comeback of Caroline Wozniacki, which is really exciting. We have Elina Svitolina coming back super strong after pregnancy as well. So we have all those great stories. And obviously Ons Jabeur being a trailblazer for Arabic movement, and she was so close to win a Grand Slam. You have the feeling that it's not going to take too long before she wins her first. So that's going to be also an amazing story. So I think we have a lot of stories to tell. And if those girls can stay now on the top, I think we're in for a good run. All I know is, of course, you have disturbing into your sleeping pattern, because your baby is waking up during the night and you have to get up and feeding your baby. And I don't know, I'm not sure if Elina breastfeeding or just went into a normal week, but anyway, you still have to wake up and feed your baby. So that's a difficult part, because then of course you're a lot more tired during the day when you have to go through your training. And Obviously, your body is changing through pregnancy as well. So to find the athleticism again and get yourself into shape, but I think she has done it so quickly. I mean, she was so fit at Roland Garros. She was, I thought, even fitter at Wimbledon, just being incredibly consistent, point in and point out. I mean, almost never let down. The match against Azarenka was so intense. She backed it up with a very intense match on the round after. So for me, it's just really extraordinary to see her physically that fit and that match ready so soon. That's what I will emphasize the most. And then obviously I played against her 10 years ago. She had this just great game when she never beat herself. She get always the balls back. Now slightly more aggressive even than before, which I think is a good step forward for her. And I would not be surprised to see her do extremely well at the US Open, actually qualify for the Year's End Championship. That means she will be top 8. I will not be surprised at all to see Lina in the top 8 at the end of this year.